And we are live. Happy Saturday. Welcome to our first time home buyer seminar. My name is Vinnie, my co-host over here.
David Wright, welcome. Thanks for joining us on Saturday. We know you all are busy.
All right, David, let's just get into it. So where to start with home ownership? Okay, first thing you need to do is look at your current job and stability. All right, now in this crazy climate that we're currently in, I mean, it's gonna vary person to person, but if you can feel comfortable as much as possible in your job, that might be the next idea of kind of future growth, opportunity to pay increase. What is your budget? I mean, again, everything's fluctuating on probably a monthly basis with everything going on. Yet have at least an understanding of where your budget sits. Are you saving money monthly? Do you contribute to a 401k? Do you have an emergency fund? Do you vacation yearly? What are your goals? What amount of money do you have for a down payment, or do you need a gift for home buyer assistance? And what's your ideal monthly mortgage? So there's a lot of things to kind of take away from here. There are a variety of different programs out there. So if you're looking for a down payment, there's programs out there. If you're looking for a gift fund, things like that, you can qualify based off your situation. And then ideal monthly mortgage payment. This is something that we go into drastically, and David can kind of walk you through it too, is there's a difference between what you qualify for and what you comfortably can afford.
So true. It's such a lot of people look at that, Vinny, and they go, oh, my current rent is $2,700. What can I afford? And a lot of them, when they come down and sit with me, they always tell me $200 less or $500 less than what they pay in rent now. When in reality, after the benefits and the things that happen when you buy a house with equity, tax write-offs, you can actually afford more than what you pay in rent.
Yeah. All right, you want to take this one, David?
Yep. How to finance your home and pick a lender. So, you know, you thought about what Vinny went over with you. You looked at your general budget. You know where you spend your money. Now it's time to pick a lender who's actually going to be around long term, because believe it or not, you're going to have questions over the long term. Things will go wrong. You'll need someone to call. And if you think you're going to be able to do that from a Quicken or a lender in Idaho or someone that just got in the business, just starting right now, no, that's not going to happen. So how do you get a good lender? Well, first of all, ask your agent. Ask your realtor. Your realtor will know a good lender. They will know one. Step two, go to Yelp, go to Zillow, go to Google, heck, go to Redfin. You can Google every lender and see what happens. Read their reviews. If they have no reviews, that's a problem. That means they're not doing business. Do you want to be their first experiment? They just got their license. They're just figuring out loans. Do you want to gamble your house with them? Go ahead. Maybe, maybe not. And then step four, check their license number. This is where, you know, a lot of times you hear on the internet, talk is cheap. That's true. People say how much they do, when in reality, the license number of a lender will show you how much they've done. If their license number is very high, they haven't done very much business. And if you're willing to gamble that.
I mean, I'd be careful with the time they've been in the business compared to how much business they've done. I mean, those can be two different things. I mean, there's people in the real estate industry and there's people in the lending industry that have been in this business a long period of time, yet haven't done much business. They just keep the license for a extended period of time. So be careful with that. Use all these things as kind of putting building a cake, right? So if you get a referral from an honest agent, right, for this lender, okay, that's one good ingredient. If you look up the reviews, right, but maybe you didn't get the referral from an agent right there, well, then that's one aspect of it. Read the reviews of the loan officer, right, and see if they're positive reviews, right? And then look at the license number. Use these all together. So if you're getting someone that maybe is newer in the business but has great reviews, has done business, got a good referral, then maybe that would be an avenue for you. Yeah, if maybe they don't have a lot of reviews, but they've been in this a long period of time, but you got them as a referral, maybe you take a risk on them. So use these all together to really figure out who's going to be the best fit for you.
That's a good point, Vinny. I'm glad that you put that all together, because it does make sense. You want to look at this as a whole, not as one thing. You want to look at all the combining factors. So thanks for helping me with presenting that better.
Now David, David's going to want to show you, once you actually give David a call and talk to him about getting your loan together, he's going to want to get some basic ideas from you, right? Where you've worked for the last few years, what your rental history is, your 30 days of pay stubs, W-2s, federal tax returns, and have a full package of understanding who you are. Okay, so he can provide that to the underwriter. Okay, he's like the attorney. He's like your attorney. When you bring him on, he's like your attorney, and the underwriter is like the judge, and he's trying to build a case of why you should be able to buy a property, and he's fighting for you, right? Now, if maybe you don't have all this criteria, you only work for the job for 1 year, all right, don't worry about that. I mean, David in his position, he can fight for you and see if there's opportunity for you to still purchase. Now, if you work sometimes with big banks, brick and mortar banks, what happens is they have these set guidelines that they can't actually step outside of. So it makes it harder for them to vary too much. So if you have a steady job, steady career, I mean, you've been there for 20 years, I mean, maybe it is a brick and mortar company. But for most of us, there's a lot of change that happens, a lot of things that we have to go over. Oh, this bill right here, I don't need to pay this anymore. This happened right here, this happened here. And that's where David comes in.
Yeah, because the only thing constant is change. And what Vinnie pointed out is super important. Everyone's situation is different. And a lot of certain more old school banking, like Chase, Wells Fargo, BofA, they have different, more restrictive guidelines than other lenders. And so you want to make sure that by us looking at all these different items, we can find the loan that fits you in your best situation, because some guidelines are black and white. There are gray. And most people kind of have gray situations, and we want to make sure that we find the best loan for you in your situation. Ooh, now that your lender has reviewed everything and shared your goals with the agent, what's next? Well, these are a lot of things me and Vinnie talk about all the time, and you need to write these things down, because this is what's important when you start looking for the house. It's what's your monthly payment. Vinnie always pushes that. Know your monthly payment. Be comfortable with your monthly payment. Don't go too high just because you want to have that super duper nice house, even though the payment's a little high. Then is it the location of the house? Is that most important to you? Is it the appreciation the home makes? Is that most important to you? Is it future rental value? Got to think about these things. And then the loan. So the loan ties in with the house. Like, is your down payment the most important? Were you able to save 20%? That's a lot of money. Do you have 3.5%? Do you have 5%? The down payment, what's most important about that? Is it your interest rate? Because the interest rate comes into the long-term cost of borrowing, and it also works with tax write-offs. So there's a lot of interesting things with the rate. Or is it the lowest cost for you to buy the home? Or is it the lowest long-term borrowing cost? Because you're going to move in this house, and your goal is, I'm moving in here, I'm never moving for 10 years. And Vinnie, how often do people move when they buy a house? What would you say is the average move time?
Man, it really varies, but usually it's 5 to 7 years. That's the saying, is that every 5 7 years there's going to be some kind of real estate transaction that the average person is going to need.
Yeah, I see that on my end too. People come in and they go, we're buying this house and we're never moving for 20 years. 7 years later, they move. So think about it. Things to think about. These are important questions. Oh, that's the wake-up call. So for those of you who are asleep with not enough coffee, yes, that's a real rabbit. Yes. Can me and Vinnie pull rabbits out of our hats and make deals happen for you guys? The answer is yes. And that's proof of it. That's a rabbit. Vinnie had a deal. It was so amazing. The client didn't think they were going to get it. And Vinnie showed up and said, hey, do this. He pulled this rabbit out. Boom, deal's done. So
magic happens. The thing you got to be aware of is the biggest thing with regards to the lender, in my opinion, right? Of course, rates, everything like that, that's fantastic. From going from not getting the house and getting the house is having the lender asking you questions. People look at that, the lender asking for documentation, questions, and things like that, they're going, oh my gosh, is it ever going to end? Reality is, if your lender is getting more information from you, they're trying to build a stronger case for you later on. I mean, I've had clients before where they've worked with a lender, and sometimes that lender is not asking the question. Then I have to go, have you made sure that your lender is asking you these questions? Have you made sure that you're asking this question? Because the worst thing that can happen is you get under contract and you find out you can't qualify for the loan because they didn't factor something in.
And right now, also, if you're listening to our weekly market updates, you would know the mortgage industry is at 400% capacity. We're the busiest we've ever been. So Vinny's totally correct. If we keep asking for more documents, we're building a case to make sure that your loan gets exactly what it needs to close. So make sure you send in all the items the lender requests. Don't try and hide anything. We will find it later. And we don't like surprises. Like clients say, oh, I've never been married. And then next thing you know, we find out you were married and divorced in Wisconsin and you have child support that you were hiding. We do find everything. Please be open and it will make your process much better.
Yeah, there's just one time that the client lost their job in escrow, and they didn't want to tell anyone about it. And it was like, I think it was like 2 weeks before escrow. And we're just like, how did it go? Everything going? And they go, oh, well, I didn't think the lender was going to find out that I lost my job. And I was like, no, tell them, because they're going to find out you're going to qualify.
Yeah, like, for those of you out there, we check with your employer 3 days prior to closing the loan that you're still employed.
All right.
Many types of loans out there. Which one's best for your situation? So, let's look at this right here. These are just a couple things. We're not going to go deep. You have FHA, which is 3.5% down. We used to go 580 and up FICOs. We're currently at 620, 640. We put that on there because me and Vinnie are optimistic that things will get back to more open. Then conventional loans, 620 FICOs, 3 to 5% down as well. And then VA loans, 0% down, no limit. And jumbos. Jumbos have kind of changed right now. So 10% down, is it still available? Yes. Is it very, very ugly? Yes. Would I recommend it? No. But jumbos with 15% down are a little bit different.
All right. Now, follow our market ups because you're going to get a better idea of what's going on currently. This goes over the last 5 years. Okay. Now, things change. I mean, we'll see if the next 5 years hold similar appreciation, which, I mean, I probably don't think that's going to be the case. So focus on the monthly payment. Focus on that monthly payment. That's the biggest thing. Buying a house thinking that you're going to make a lot of money in equity in the next 2 years, I think it's the wrong way to go. Yes, if you hold on to the property next 10, 15 years, you're probably going to have more equity in the property than you do today. And be careful to really gamble on the market. And because the market goes up, the market goes down, it's a pendulum.
It is an interesting time right now. And I know yesterday in our market update, we released that data that was by basically Black Knight and Veros saying that they expect 3 to 5% appreciation this next year. That is a very interesting forecast.
Yeah, I mean, right now in San Diego County, if you watch our market updates, you'll know that we have a shortage of inventory. I mean, the stat that I want to use is in a balanced market, you want about 6 months of inventory, right? That means if no other property went on the market at the rate properties are selling, all properties will be done in 6 months, okay? In a balanced market, okay? Not sellers, not buyers. Yet in the current climate right now that we have, right, we roughly have about 3 weeks inventory. Now, when you break that down to single family homes under 700,000, we're probably talking about a week and a half inventory, okay? Somewhere around there. So things to really think about. So that is affecting the market. Now, we don't know what's going to happen if we're going to get an influx of new properties. Focus on the monthly payment. That's the best advice. Now, when we're talking about closing costs for a property, when we're putting an offer in on a property, right? Usually it's about 2.25. Okay, those are usually closing costs. Those are going to take care of basically property taxes, any kind of lender fees, items like that. Now, those closing cost fees, you can get that rolled in the offer. With the shortage inventory, it does make your offer a little bit less appealing, right? Because you're taking off the bottom line from the seller. Yet it's something to weigh in. You know, let's say you're buying something at 500,000, right? So that puts it about $11,000. Okay, maybe you ask for $6,000 closing costs, so then it offsets that $11,000 you got to pay. So things to really look at. Talk to your realtor. your trusted source and see what's the best way to structure your offer.
It's nobody likes surprises. We put this closing cost on here for one reason only. People don't want to get surprised when they save for their down payment and then they go, oh, there's more money involved. Yes, the closing costs. And like Vinnie mentioned, it is very hard to get closing costs paid by seller right now. That's a tough one. And the lender can credit you as well. Just use that number 2.25% to know that's a very good conservative number that you need for the closing costs.
And watch our market updates. You'll get a better idea too of where property sit right now, and you can get an idea of how to structure your offer. All right. So what's very important things to think about when buying? How long do you plan to own the property? We already talked about it. 5 to 7 years, usually when someone needs some kind of real estate business. Okay. Where you buy is important. It really helps with resale and future rental value. Does buying a home still allow you to have a life and sleep comfortable? You save money towards your retirement with this new home. I mean, something that I tell a lot of my clients, if you're not looking to buy today, right, you can't buy for one reason or the other, we can't come to a game plan of why you can buy today. We can still talk. We can still put together a game plan for 6 months, a year from now.
True. And a lot of people do that.
Yeah, we set you up with a lender. The lender give you an idea of what you could qualify for today, and things can subject change, right? But at least give you an idea of what you qualify today for, right? And then that monthly payment, right? That projected monthly payment, you can put that difference of what you're paying in rent and the projected monthly payment, and then put that in a savings account. So you actually get a feel in your pocketbook, right? How that mortgage payment is going to feel to you later on. And it gives you a better idea of going, well, is this too high for me? Can I push it a little bit more? And so there's things like that you can do to make your life easier when you buy a property and take out some of the unknowns. So if you're looking to buy today, tomorrow, in a year from now, give myself or David a call. We can kind of walk you through a game plan to get you ready to buy for the future.
And that last one, number 4, with what Vinnie mentioned about your comfortable monthly payment, make sure you're contributing to your 401k plan. A lot of people don't. Me and Vinnie talk to people and they go, oh, I contribute 2%. That's your future. You need to contribute towards your retirement while buying a house because you want to be able to sleep at night and take vacations and take care of your family. And when you call me and Vinnie later on, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, you're super excited because your future has been greatly changed because of the positive impact of buying the house at the right payment, and you can still save.
All right. Now, what is beyond important? Choosing the best realtor. So you've already chose a great lender, or maybe you want to get a realtor first. Check the online reviews. Check their license number. Similar to a lender, higher number means newer in the business. That lower number can be better. Do they do it full time? Do they own a home? How many homes do they really sell? Experience matters.
Just chime in on that one, Vinnie. I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt you, but how many homes do they really sell? Do you have some statistics you can maybe share with us? Because this is so important. I mean, this is so important. Choosing the right realtor could 50, 100 grand.
So 28,000 realtors in San Diego County. 28,000 realtors in San Diego County.
Wow.
Okay. Now, what does that tell you? That tells you that basically everyone and their brother probably knows a realtor, right?
Yep.
Okay. So if everyone and their brother knows a realtor, fantastic.
And their brother's mother's former cousin's uncle's roommate's sister.
For a realtor over the last year to be in the top 20% of all realtors in San Diego County, they would have to sell one property.
Wow.
One property.
That's not good.
With everything changing, look back at your life. Look at basically how property are sold. Look how you go to the grocery store. Look at everything. Now, if you're working with someone, their last deal was last Christmas, right? Or their last time going to the store was last Christmas. Do you think the process of them going to the store would be a little different last Christmas compared to today? The
You
same
know,
thing you said about real
Vinnie,
estate.
I mean, the data when you say this, I'm gonna put this in a easy. I'm gonna try my best to make this sound a little bit easier. So I'm a lender, but I also do part-time brain surgery. But I only do one brain surgery a year. So if you want to come to me and get brain surgery, sure, I do one a year. I mean, it could be in the top 20%. I do one a year. You don't want to risk the largest purchase of your life to someone that doesn't do business very often. So important.
Yeah. And again, if you're whatever you're watching on, please subscribe. Follow our market updates we do every Monday and Friday at 4 o'clock. All right. So now you have your loan set and you have a great realtor set. What's next? Think carefully about these. So you want the house size, location, schools, appreciation, price. I mean, those are usually the big features that people look at when they're purchasing a home. Okay, so that's where you and your lender can, I mean, you and your realtor can talk it over and see what's going to be, I mean, your goal of this purchase. What are you looking to accomplish with this purchase?
All right. After that, you figured it all out. What's next? You're out with Vinnie or your other lender or your other realtor you want to experiment with, and you want to write an offer. You find a place. What happens? Well, agent's going to sit down with you. They're going to go over the purchase price, what you're going to offer. They're going to go over with you the terms of your offer. A lot of time limits in there. They're going to go over with you fees that are split, paid by you, paid by the seller. There's going to be different items that are conveyed or not conveyed. With that being said, Vinnie, what would you consider being normally conveyed with property? What is real property?
So real property is like the building, right? Personal property is like this keyboard. Okay. Now, yeah. So in a property, the real property is the house, and the personal property, it can be the stove, refrigerator, washer, dryer, things like that. Stuff that can be moved. Okay, it's not affixed to the property. Right now, there's always a confusion of how a fix is quantified and everything like that. So anything that can be perceived as taken away, like a refrigerator, stove, washer, and dryer, anything like that, make sure it's written in your offer. Okay, so there's no confusion later on in the process, because I've seen that happen where people, they assume that they want one thing or they're gonna get one thing, and then later on after the close they realize, oh, we never asked for this item to convey. Okay, and then how much is the EMD? I mean, EMD can be whatever number you want. I mean, it's usually between 1 to 3, it can be 5. It's really an arbitrary number, whatever the seller is willing to accept and whatever the buyer is willing to put in. Okay, so that's become a negotiation, just like prices, just like term of the offer, fees to be split. So terms of the offer, time limit, generically we're talking about 30-day escrow. Yet with some lenders you work with, like David, can close in 21 days. I mean, maybe 19 days, based off of how clean the file is, based off of how much information they have. And when people want to sell quick, sometimes they're willing to take less money to sell quick. Okay. Also, contingencies. You have out clauses in the contract. So based off of the out clauses you have in the contract, sometimes if they're shorter, that gives a little more peace of mind to the seller. So they're willing to take it. So things to really look at when you're putting your offer together, talking to your realtor, and figuring out what's the best way to structure this.
And so that's super important. Your offer, sitting down with your agent. Your agent will explain everything about your offer to make sure you understand what you're getting into. And then what happens after you got your offer? Well, the agent sends it back to the seller. The seller either likes it, boom, it's accepted. Or more than likely, in this current environment with limited amount of inventory, you will get countered, which means they will come back to you and say, hey, maybe there's multiple counters, or we're thinking we would actually like to have a higher price, or we want to change the terms. You can counter the counter, or you can just accept it. It's not a winning deal until both sides end up getting a fair deal and both people feel like they're winning. Because if you're selling your own house and you're unfortunately screwing over the other party, that's not good, because why would they accept that? People want a fair deal. People want to both feel like they're winning, which is why the agent helps negotiate, both working with each other to make sure that it is a fair deal at the end. And how would you put that negotiation process, Vinny? Like the countering with agents, the back and forth, like that's it.
Well, look at it this way. Okay, so right now we're heavily swayed towards the seller's market for the majority of properties, right? So it's your job for your realtor to tighten up timelines and windows to protect you during escrow. Because when you're in escrow, a lot of the stuff gets swayed more to the buyer side. They have the ability to back out. They have the ability to ask for stuff. They have the ability to drag things out, right? So if you know that the offer that you've accepted is not beneficial to the buyer side, they have, for the most part, abilities to drag it out, ask for things, and ask for a reduction. And based off of the agent you're working with on the buying side, the lender you're working with, there's ways to manipulate offers. So yes, you want the best for yourself, yet you also want to make sure the other person is not totally getting taken advantage of, because if they don't feel comfortable, if they don't feel happy in it, what's going to happen is they're going to either ask for a crazy price reduction, ask for a cancellation, and any way that goes, it's going to go back on the market, go with another offer. So things to really think about when you're negotiating or having your realtor negotiate for you.
Kind of goes similar back to our first-time landlord class where we do first-time investments, Vinny. It's don't screw people over, treat people fairly. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. All right, so your contract accepted. Now what? Now, let me just jump into this before again. If this is your first time watching us, we keep this short and sweet. Feel free to comment. Feel free to reach out. Feel free to ask any kind of question. We'd love to be that resource for you for any of your San Diego real estate needs. If you're looking to buy a property or refi a property in California, David can help you out. If you're looking to do any kind of real estate anywhere else, I can always set you up with a great lender. Yes, an agent in San Diego has the ability to help you out anywhere in California, yet are they doing you the best of service by helping you out in an area that they don't know about? All right, so let's get back into it. So you have your contract accepted. Now what? Escrow is open and instructions are issued for wiring of the earnest money deposit. Lender requests the fees, right? Escrow and title fees. All right. The realtor helps in scheduling the home inspection and all other inspections deemed needed to protect you and the investment. The lender orders appraisal to help with confirming the value. Escrow sends you package to fill out, and off to the races. Now, so going into this real fast, the home inspection. If you're curious about what a home inspector does, I've started a segment of what do each people do in their contract. So I just did one about a home inspector. We use USA Home Inspector, but you can use anyone you want. They are a general inspector. Like when you get when you basically go to the doctors to get a checkup, and they kind of give you an idea of what's going on. That's what a home inspector does. Now, if you have a major issue with your knee, they might send you to a specialist. That's what a home inspector does. They'll look at stuff and they go, hey, you might need a specialist to take a look at the roof. You might need a specialist to look at the plumbing. You might need a specialist to take a look at this. But they're going to give you an overall view of everything. And based off of that, and based how your offer is structured, that becomes a second negotiation of asking the seller to either reduce price or give you a credit if there's things that come up in that property that you think were outside of your original scope. Same thing with the appraisal. The appraisal, is the bank wants to make sure that their assets protected, and also want to make sure that you're protected, right? So they're going to check the livability standards and the value of the property is similar to what you're under contract for. Anything you want to throw on that, David?
There's a lot of stuff right here. We don't want to take too much of you guys' time because we have more going on, but the key thing is lenders requesting fees from title and escrow. Title and escrow is expensive. We need the fees to disclose them to you so that we can show you that the estimate we used before, the 2.25%, is a good estimate. And most of the time it'll be a little bit lower unless you're closing in, September, October, which are expensive months. And then other than that, the appraisal, it's important to order that early because of the terms that your agent put in the contract. There's always an appraisal contingency, which means you need to basically see that the home is worth what you're paying for it during that time frame of the appraisal contingency. So a lot of data here. We can talk more about it. We're going to keep the ball rolling because we have a lot more stuff to get to, and we're already at 30 minutes.
All right, so what to expect about loans going on? We already kind of jumped in this. Your home inspection is done. Repairs are noted, costs are form related. Requests for repairs are made. Requests have been negotiated. Maybe price negotiation. If you need further tests, mold, termite, water, plumbing, that will also happen. A little tip of the day is, if it's an older property, you're probably going to want some scoping in the plumbing to see if there's corrosion in the piping. So things to think about. Talk to your lender, talk to your home inspector. They will be taking care of it.
And last week we did tip of the week, PSI on water pressure in your house. What is it, Vinny? You remember?
No.
Oh, well, it's 50. So if you're buying an older home and you don't want your appliances to go out early and have more expensive mistakes, get your water pressure tested. PSI of 50 is what's recommended by most plumbers. Now,
actually, I thought it's higher than that.
No, it's 50. That's what's the recommended. You can go up to 70, but that becomes a interesting area if you go higher. All right. So anyways, let's jump in. What do you expect on a loan sign? So let's do the process really simple. Your loan was disclosed, which means you signed electronic DocuSign signatures. Then we get your loan signatures back from the disclosures. We're going to take your loan, all the pay stubs, tax returns, W-2s, bank statements. We're going to send it to processing. Processing means we recheck all the information we initially already checked. If your lender didn't check it already, these are where mistakes will be found. Some of them. After the loan's processed, that takes a couple days. The current environment, that's probably 5 days, maybe 7. Then your loan goes to underwriting, who Vinny likes to refer to as the judge. The underwriter.
Well, let me just jump in there fast. So I just Googled, and Google's not always correct, but 75 to 80 is where it caps out at for PSI.
Yeah, at the highest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was the normal 50?
No, just anywhere in that range. It didn't tell you exactly, but it just said anywhere in that range.
Okay. Well, so let's not go above 75. Keep the pressure on. Anyway, so your loan goes to underwriting. Underwriting is where we review all the guidelines that your loan we initially looked at that fits your situation the best has to be signed off on to give you the money. What happens when an underwriter looks at your loan? Well, if you weren't honest and upfront, will mistakes happen? Quite possibly. Is there more conditions that will be asked for? Yes, there usually are. So once the loan's approved by the underwriter, they issue some conditions. You have to return them back to us. We ask for them. We beg. We plead. The loan moves as fast as you work with us to help you get that done. Once all the conditions are in, it's signed off by the underwriter. It's issued what's a clear to close, which means we order your closing disclosure, number 7, CD. That's important. CD is not what you play in your car. The CD is the closing disclosure. It has a 3-day government waiting period. So that was done so that the lender can't bait and switch you and change all the fees on you. We give you the closing disclosure. It goes over all the fees that we promise you. You have 3 days to think about it. And then on the 3rd day, you can sign your loan documents. And then next day, prepare to fund. And you're on your way to owning your home.
All right. Now, is this process different in a challenging market? Better price, better terms, better property, better long-term gains, or maybe there's time for you to wait? The biggest thing that we're seeing in this current market, our rates are historic lows. Rates are historic lows. Inventory is, pretty low right now. So having a strong game plan of understanding what you're looking to accomplish with the purchase is going to be the big thing. And if you bought a property today, you're more than likely getting a lower monthly payment than you would have got 9 months ago. Even though values might have gone up a tad, you're getting a lower monthly payment for the most part than you would have got 9 months ago. So things to really look at. You change the way you're looking at this purchase. not at the price, right? Unless you're buying cash, and that's one thing. Maybe you wait it out, maybe you wait for the market to change. But for the majority of us out there, we're using a loan, right? So if you're using a loan, you want the lowest payment possible, right? So if you're getting a lower monthly payment today than you would have got 9 months ago, 10 months ago, 12 months ago, maybe even longer than that, now's the time to purchase if you can get your property.
It's very hard to get your property right now. And the agent is so beyond important right now. And the lender too as well, because lending is at 400% right now. Lenders are very busy. You want to make sure you choose the right one to make sure you can have a competitive offer on the properties you're looking to bid on.
Now, thank you for watching this. We try to keep it short and sweet. Follow our market updates. Our market updates will give you a better insight into today's market, because you've been watching this a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a month from now, 3 months from now, whatever you do. Watch our most recent market update, and I'll give you a better idea of what's going on right now in San Diego County. Okay. And then if you have any particular questions about thinking about buying, purchasing, anything like that, reach out to myself, David. Here's our information, and we love to be a resource for you. Any last words you want to throw out there, David?
Also, check out Vinnie's podcast. Love that, Road to Growth. In case you didn't know, he didn't mention it. I'll push it. The other thing, our weekly market updates are only 10 minutes. We do a tip of the week every week with those as well. And we're here basically to help long-term. We're not short-term people. So unlike a lot of people who will help you and then disappear, that's not us. We're going to be around.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Well, have a great Saturday.
Thank you.